Hi, welcome back to My Yoga To Go. This is called Lower Back Love. And what we're going to practice today is trying to get your pelvis to be balanced, both from front to back and from right to left. And when your pelvis is in that balanced place, your lower back will love it. The muscles will spontaneously release. All you need to participate is a strap, preferably a long strap, and most likely a blanket. Set your props to the side, lie on your back, with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. As always, if when you lie back, your chin is lifted higher than your forehead, well, there's no way any of your back can relax. If that's the case for you, simply slide your blanket under the back of your head. Most of you know that by now. Mine doesn't seem to really need a blanket, so I'll just go straight on the floor. You want to bring your fingertips to your pubic bone, which is the little symphysis on the front part of your pelvis, where the right and left sides of your pelvis meet. Touch your pubic bone with your fingers, and then use your fingers to move your pubic bone down toward the ground. It's moving toward your tailbone. Notice how your lower back starts to arch away from the ground. Now do the opposite. Curl your tailbone up toward your pubic bone. Feel how your lower back starts to flatten into the ground. Do each one several times. Using your fingertips, move pubic bone to tailbone. Feel how your lower back arches. Then curl your tailbone toward your pubic bone. Feel how your lower back flattens. Simple enough. Use your fingers initially to manipulate it so you get the idea here. Pubic bone to tailbone. Tailbone to pubic bone. As your pubic bone moves toward your tailbone, your pelvis is tilting, let's say. It's tilting forward. As your tailbone curls toward your pubic bone, your pelvis is tucking, let's call it. Now release your hands to the side. Instead of using the hands to do it, try it the breathing way. On an inhale, drop the pubic bone down toward the tailbone. And on an exhale, curl the tailbone up toward the pubic bone. In your own time, inhale, pubic bone drops. Exhale, tailbone curls. Inhale, pubic bone drops, your lower back arches. Exhale, tailbone curls, your lower back flattens. The inhale is a tilt for your pelvis. The exhale is a tuck for your pelvis. Keep going. I'm using multiple synonyms just to describe the same phenomenon. They're all the same. It's just some people comprehend them in different ways. So whichever one works best for you, keep that clear in your mind. Now, can you start to whittle those down so that instead of just doing them in such a dramatic fashion, you're going to decrease the range of motion. You're going to have the pubic bone dropping toward the tailbone a little. Then you're going to curl the tailbone toward the pubic bone a little. And as you start to whittle them down even more, you want to feel that actually both of them can sort of happen at the same time. You might observe that spontaneously the floor of your pelvis has toned, that your lower back is not arched or rounded, it's just neutral. Note that. On your next exhale, draw both knees to chest. Keeping the knees together, feet together, exhale. Lift your chin to your chest. Reach around, hold the outside edges of your feet. Begin to pull your knees closer to your nose. At the same time, lift your nose closer to your knees. Now breathe, you're just stretching out, lengthening out the muscles of your lower back. And for some of you who tend to warehouse stiffness there, that should feel pretty darn good. Now stay lifted, cross your ankles, doesn't matter which. Pull your feet back toward your head so that you rock back. And then throw your feet forward from your head so you rock forward. And do it several times, back and forth. Keeping your belly firm, you'll notice that the back, it's actually getting smoothed out. It's almost like a rolling pin going over some damp dough. Roll all the way up. Pull your feet back toward your hips. Come onto all fours. And you just slide your knees back so that the hands are right underneath the shoulders. The knees want to be right underneath the hips. Now translate it into this position. Same exact thing we did lying down. Lift your pubic bone up toward your tailbone so your lower back arches. Then curl your tailbone toward your pubic bone so your lower back rounds. Pubic bone to tailbone is a tilt. Tailbone to pubic bone is a tuck. Remember the breath. Inhale, tilt your pelvis. Exhale, tuck your pelvis. Begin to let your whole spine participate in that movement, so that as you're tucking your tail, your head will also drop. And as you're lifting your pubic bone, your head will also lift. Do a few more each side. Simple inhale. Simple exhale. Once more, simple inhale. Arch your whole back. Simple exhale. Round your whole back. Come back to neutral. Move the pubic bone toward the tailbone and the tailbone toward the pubic bone, which sounds imaginative in the beginning. But you want to feel that just like when you're on your back, both could be happening at the same time. Feel that same firmness at the floor of your pelvis. Note a little firmness in your lower belly. And from there, just take plank position. So you just hold plank for a moment without holding breath. Hold the shape. Think pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone, so your pelvis stays balanced from front to back. Release. Bend your knees to the ground. Point your toes. Move towards simple kneeling pose. Only you're going to drop your pelvis to the right. Open your knees a little and do this lovely little twist, Bharadvajasana, which just means it's the simple twisting pose. Tuck your right buttock flesh more under your pelvis. Push with your left hand. Don't be aggressive. Just gently unwind the muscles of your lower spine. Release back to center. So you go toward a simple kneeling position, only you drop your pelvis to the left. Remember, knees apart a little bit. Tuck the flesh of your left buttocks underneath your pelvis. And with your right hand across, your left hand behind. Again, you're not going to force. You're just going to ease open the muscles of your lower spine. So this is such a lovely, accessible twist that can just feel great for your lower back. Release. Come back to all fours, this time downward facing dog pose. Instead of plank, take downward facing. Now notice the tendency for many, many people in downward dog is to have the tail tucked between the legs, like a scared dog. So what happens if you push down in the roots of your toes, lift your heels well off the floor, send your pubic bone up toward your tailbone so that now you're going for more tilt in your pelvis. Maximize the tilt of your pelvis. Feel how it starts to become confluent with the rest of your back. And then maintaining that lift, the lift of your pubic bone, you just slowly stretch your heels down. Breathe. Push your hands in the ground. Breathe and lengthen. Lengthen your pelvis away from your hands. Inhale there. As you exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to a lunge. Inhaling, slightly lift your chest. Exhaling, step your left foot forward. Inhaling, lengthen out your side waist. And exhaling, fold down. Remember to release your crown. Set your heels. Inhale, swoop all the way up to standing. Keep your arms overhead. As you move your pubic bone back, you'll feel an arch in your lower back. Move that arch more into the lift of your chest. More into the lift of your chest. And exhale. Release, arms down to side. Now you don't want to get stuck in any of the positions. Don't keep jamming your pubic bone back. Instead, let the tailbone move forward a little bit. The best part about yoga is you get to touch yourself in your private parts, even in a public class or something. But when you're practicing at home, you can definitely feel this. Pubic bone to tailbone to pubic bone. Don't get stuck on either one. You want to keep a conversation happening between the two. so that you're orienting yourself more toward neutral pelvis. It should feel balanced. The rim of the pelvis balanced over the floor. Let's try again. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, spill your pelvis forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. Inhale, slightly lift your chest. Exhale, step back to a plank position. Pubic bone to tailbone to pubic bone. Firm your lower belly, and maintaining that, come down slowly as you can to the ground. Now you're going to point your toes, squeeze your legs together. And for Cobra Pose, I want you to think that same action we just did standing. Lift pubic bone to tailbone so you start to feel that your lower back arches. Don't keep the arch stuck in your lower back. Instead, begin to use the grounding of your hands to pull the arch more into your middle back. As you can see, I'm kind of like slithering a little side to side. So I'm lengthening out of my lower back. The pubic bone is still lifting a little bit, but that curve wants to become more integrated with the rest of the spine. And then lower down strongly, not just an idea, strongly pull your belly back toward your back and downward facing dog pose again. Breathe freely. Straighten the arms and legs enthusiastically. Search for more length in your waist. And on the exhale, step your left foot forward to a lunge. Inhale, slightly lift your chest. Exhale, right foot to meet the left. Inhale, make space in your waist again. Exhale, dive down for standing forward bend. Inhale, swoop all the way up. Pubic bone to tailbone. Give a little curl of your tailbone to your pubic bone. From that conversation, feel the elongation and the integration of your spine so you go up and back, and release. Arms down to side. One of the main problems for lower back pain is that people forget to articulate other parts of the back. So don't confuse. You don't always want to be tucked. If you're a swayed back person, don't go for tucking. Move the curve that you already have into other parts of your back. Let's try again. On your inhalation, sweep your arms all the way up overhead. On your exhalation, swan dive down, standing forward bend. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. Inhale, right foot back to plank position. Exhale, slowly lower down. Firm belly, point your toes on the ground. So again, lifting the pubic bone, begin to feel the arch in your lower back. Then use the strength of your arms to move that bend more into your middle and your upper back. More to your middle back, your upper back. As you soften your pubic bone, sometimes your neck can go back. Release, lower down, strongly pull your belly back, and downward facing dog again. So each time you come to the yoga practice, it wants to feel like, I'm tending to my lower back because I just tend to neglect it. Tending to it, making space, conversing with it. On the exhale, step your right foot forward to a lunge, spin your left heel to the ground, broaden the soles of your feet, and lift up for Warrior Two. So, as usual, track your right knee over your ankle, extend back through your left heel, and center your torso right between your two legs. It's going to be faint, but the same conversation is going on. Pubic bone to tailbone, your lower back arches. Tailbone to pubic bone, your lower back flattens. Pubic bone to tailbone, you slightly arch. Tailbone to pubic bone, you slightly flatten. Try to find that place right between the two so that your pelvis is balanced. The rim of your pelvis more balanced above the floor, and then thrusting into your feet, sprout up through your core. Drop your arms, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, move the thighs back. Exhale, left foot forward to a lunge. Rooting your right heel, broadening the soles of your feet, take warrior two. Same thing. Once you get the basic scaffolding in place, meaning your knee is over your ankle, your right heel is rooted, try the refinement. Pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone. Pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone. If that's still not making sense to you, tilting your pelvis, tucking your pelvis. Try each one at the same time. And that vibration will start to give you more stability in your pelvis and naturally more elongation out of your lower back into your chest. Bring your hands on your hips, straighten your left leg, turn your feet parallel. From parallel, left toes in a little, right toes all the way out. Keeping your right hand on your right hip, deepen that groin, so you're going to send it back. And you're just going to spill the whole pelvic bowl over the right leg till your hand touches down, whatever it can go for, the shin, sometimes the ground. Pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone. Pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone. Stretch your left arm up overhead. Breathe. Notice that these subtle little refinements, they start to wiggle. Yes, they're going to stretch your legs, but they start to wiggle your back into more length. Press down your right foot, come all the way up, hands on hips, parallel feet. Turn the right toes in a little bit, left toes all the way out. Use your left thumb to deepen your left groin so that the whole pelvis is simply pouring over your left leg. And you touch whatever you got, stretch your right arm up to the sky, so it's just triangle pose. And you're not worried about getting it right. We always have to underscore that. It's not about trying to do the pose right. You want to feel light. You want to feel right. So you're just listening to your body in the same way that let's say a violinist would be listening to his instrument. Pubic bone to tailbone, sometimes that note sounds sharp. Tailbone to pubic bone, sometimes that one feels a little flat. And so as you listen to that conversation, you start to find a bit more of the sweet spot. That note, the tone in your body that just feels right. Release. Both hands in front of the mat. Lift your right heel. Step back to plank pose. This time, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, push-up pose. Flipping to the tops of your feet, inhale. Begin Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, your upward dog. And in the up dog, again, you're going to lengthen a little side to side. Strengthen your arms, lengthen your waist, pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone, until finally the lower back says, ah. Downward facing dog, belly back. And back, and way back. Bend your knees, trust your hands. This time, jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, make a little bit more room in your waist. Exhale, fold down with your crown. Inhale, Utkatasana, the powerful pose. You bend your knees. You lift your torso and arms up. Pubic bone to tailbone. Tailbone to pubic bone. Tilting, tucking, remember they're all synonyms until you start to feel some neutral. Straighten your legs from your neutral pelvis. Launch your chest. Do one more little back bend, distributing the back bend. Distributing the back bend through your whole spine. And swan dive all the way down. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Planting your hands, exhale, jump to push-up pose. Note, not to plank. Go right back with your arms bent. You're more springy that way. Then one last upward dog. Lift. Open chest. Open your chest. That also takes pressure off your lower back. Downward facing dog pose. And child's pose. Bend your knees to floor. Spread your knees apart just enough to accommodate the space of your trunk. Now, from child's pose, curl your tailbone toward your pubic bone. Scoop your belly into your lower back. And from the drop of the tail and the scoop of the belly, round your way up to a simple kneeling position. Now's where you need your strap. It won't work if you have a short strap. Unfortunately, you need one of these long ones. Or get your old judo belt, your third grade judo belt out of your closet. Something that's long. Okay, so what do you do if you're making the belt loop? If I were to mirror you, stand with the front edge of your left heel on the loop. Then snug it so that the top end of the loop is going to hit your left frontal hip point. I'll give you a moment to figure that out. The front edge of your left heel, the front of your pelvis, which is your hip point. That's how long your loop needs to be. Now, you can slide the buckle just out of the way, because if you have hardware near your private parts, sometimes it just doesn't feel so good. So check it out now. Your left heel, you're going to step your right knee through the loop so that it's hitting your right groin. Remember, I'm mirroring you, theoretically. And so you can practice this little balance, that as you start to pull your knee toward your chest, which seems simple enough, you pull your knee to your chest. The strap, the tension on the strap won't let your pelvis get off kilter. Try it on the other side. Put right heel, then step your left knee through. Again, the opposite part of the loop wants to hit you right at the groin crease. And just notice that as you start to pull that left knee closer toward your chest, your left knee, I'm doing my right, but it'll be your left. As you're pulling the knee closer to your chest, feel how the resistance of the strap keeps your pelvis balanced from right to left. Release. From here, you can try it lying down. So you just sit in staff pose for a moment. We'll all do it together, so it's kind of confusing if I'm, quote, mirroring you. Put it around your left heel, as I'm doing as well, and then around your right groin, okay? And then you're just going to lie on your back. In fact, coming down to your back, just shovel your buttock flesh forward toward your heel. Again, make sure the loop is right around your right groin. And then same as you just did standing, pull the right knee toward the chest. Squeeze in. Now again, if you are one who deals with just chronic lower back pain, this one pose, I would say, is probably the most valuable part of the program. Because the prop is insisting upon you staying balanced or even. So if you're going to do nothing else on your own, this would be a gem. Let's add a little variation. Transfer your hands to the back of your right thigh. Begin to straighten your right leg as much as you can to the sky. Some of you can walk your hands up the shin. Some of you, who knows, can grab the foot. But I bet what you notice is that with the prop, you're a lot more honest. That there's simply no way you can hike your right hip up. Your back feels long, your hips feel level, and you get a true appraisal of where your hamstring is a little stiff. Release. Let's do it on the other side. So again, you're going to push your right heel into the loop. Put the opposite end around your left groin. Same thing. Pushing out through your right heel. Hug the left knee into the chest. Haven't said breathe in a while, but that's obviously pretty important. Push through heel. Squeeze knee to chest. Notice again the balance of your pelvis from right to left. Then to challenge that, you just transfer your hands around your left thigh. Begin to extend your left leg up to the sky. Doesn't matter how close your foot is to your face. The important point is try to work the leg straight. And then you can just whatever, walk your hands a little higher. Some of you can hold your ankle. Some, who knows, maybe you can grab your foot. But I don't know about you. For me, I'm definitely feeling that the left leg, whoa, I thought I was kind of flexible here, but there's still a little crust on the back of the leg that usually I'd kind of sweep under the carpet or ignore. But now with this beautiful prop, it's come to surface. And with breath, I'm able to kind of dissolve some of those knots. Release. Let's go to the first side. One last time. So left heel to right groin. Hug the right knee to the chest. Squeeze in. Keeping your left hand on that right knee. Open your right arm to the side. Now you're going to drop the right leg all the way over to the left. Keep pushing out through the strap. Keep noticing the length of both sides of your waist. As you feel that, especially the length of your right side, you'll notice you have more room to turn your belly. Turn your belly to the right. Turn your chest and head to the right. Breathe. And then release back to center. Change legs again. Right heel, left groin. Hug the left knee in as you push out enthusiastically through the strap. Put your right hand on your left knee, open your left arm to the side, and again, this beautiful little twist. You're just going to drop over, drop the knee over to the right, keep pushing through the heel. Feel how the strap keeps the pelvis level, keeps the lower back long, liberates the belly. So you should feel, wow, what a release. The belly can turn to the left, the chest head turn to the left. And you're just breathing out the accumulated or stuck tension from your lower back. Wonderful. You release it back to center. Release. Just like we did at the very beginning of this little program. You're going to hug both knees to chest. As you feel the exhale, do a sit-up, chin to chest. Hold the outside edge of your feet. Pull knees to nose to knees. Get round. Feel you get very round in your back. Good. And then release. Feet to floor, head to floor. Just roll over to your side this time and use your arms to come all the way up. So the last little one we'll do here, it's helpful to have a blanket. And if you just sit on the clean edge or the neat edge of a folded blanket, what happens for most people, it gives them a great advantage. Your pelvis, instead of being tucked under, you can be more neutral. So tying the whole thing together, you're balanced from front to back. From our last strap pose, you're balanced from right to left. You're going to bring your right heel toward your butt bone, then drop that knee to the side. Take your left hand, specifically the back of your left hand, to that outer right knee. Walk the right hand behind. As you do that, you're going to feel how your left thigh starts to pop up, doesn't it? So use the imaginary strap to anchor it down. Lift up from the belly through your crown, and now start to turn again. Turn from right to left. Stay with your breath. Use as much force as you need in your arms just to get something to move. And then let it go. As you come back to center, you can do a forward bend over your straight leg. Tighter people, no big deal. You just use your strap, lasso your foot. Everybody, you should feel the residual imprint of that strap keeping your left hip back, and you just fold down. Exhale. 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 Curl your tail, scoop your belly, come all the way up. Fold that right knee in. Flush the leg forward. Second side, left heel in, drop your knee to the side. Again, the advantage of sitting on a little blanket as your pelvis stays more neutral. Take the back of your right hand to your outer left knee. Walk the left hand behind. Pause, because if you were to just start turning, then your lower back, it gets stuck. It's like the zippers that are the teeth of the zipper that's misaligned. So you're going to ground through your straight leg again. You're going to grow up out of your waist again. You're going to push with that right hand now and start to turn. Breathe. Grounding. Breathing. Turn your torso toward the back of your mat. Turn torso toward the back of your mat. And then let it go. Turn toward your straight leg. Whatever, my arms are long, I can hold my foot. If you can't, use your belt. Ground your right thigh. Fold over it. Ground your right thigh. Grow your waist even. Some of the back gets kind of stuck, doesn't it? Grow it out. Then drape. Exhale. 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 And tailbone curling, belly scooping, come all the way up. Flush that leg forward. Move all props out of the way. Bring it full circle, so you're just going to lie on your back the same way we started. That's a little adventure today. Knees bent, feet on floor. Remember, you're always welcome to use the blanket under your head, encouraged to do so if your head is not level. And just rest your hands right on the little infield area between your pubic bone and your navel. Rest the hands there. Rest your eyes behind closed lids. The elbows point away from each other so that your back is broad. And as silly as this practice seems, you're just going to watch the simple rise and fall of your belly. As it synchronizes with your breath. Each time you inhale, your hands lift. Each time you exhale, your hands fall. Stick with that. As simple and silly as that practice seems, that is one of the best ways to pacify your lower back. And it just keeps unfolding like that. The back muscles relax on the ground. The belly releases all sorts of accumulated tension. Lower back in love with life again. Thanks so much for practicing with this. See you on the next one.